me and the good brother Cyrus Suit and Seti had a beef. I did my little rant in Detroit, and I called him albino.
And don't worry, when I'm done talking about the Parent Association, I'm going to deal with Papa Smurf. I'm going to deal with that little dirty. I heard you, albino. I'm going to handle your ass tonight. You ain't getting away with that shit. You should have never came for me.
That when you look at the beefs that I've had in the Black consciousness, damn near every one was a light-skinned brother. And everybody provoked those beefs. And I can name a couple people right now, and I'm not going to, who got serious issues with me. And they are light as hell.
Black men are extremely biased against dark-skinned black women. I've been in rooms. I've been in events. And this is a global phenomenon too. It's not limited here. It's a Pan-African issue. I've been in spaces, right, where there might be 3 or 4 sisters over there. They are all attractive. But the dark sister, in some cases, stunningly beautiful. Stunningly beautiful. And the brother would always go to one of the lighter ones just because she was light. I've seen this repeatedly and consistently. I hear young men say they only date light skin. Look at the gangster rap community. Many of our prominent gangster rappers have at least one song where they either condemn dark-skinned women or promote light-skinned women. Jay-Z, he has a song earlier years where he says he only dates the wavy light skin.
Yeah.
Him being with Beyonce is not an accident. He probably would never consider a dark-skinned woman. I'm not trying to say Mr. Carter is a light-skinned supremacist, but going off of his lyrics, he may definitely qualify for one. Our dark-skinned sisters who are just as beautiful as our browns and our yellows are being overlooked by black men because they don't have a complexion that approximates the slave master.
That's, and we never really talk about
it has permeated the black consciousness community. I'm going to put my black conscious people on blast too. And by black consciousness, I'm loosely referring to all the brothers who claim to be woke in some way or another, including scholars, elders, and youth. If you go through the conscious community, 99% of all the conscious talking heads have women who can pass a brown paper bag test. You're not going to tell me it's a pure coincidence that most of our black scholars, most of our young conscious brothers in the YouTubian world, you can't tell me it's purely a coincidence that 99% of them have women who can pass the brown paper bag test. Our dark-skinned sisters are not in short supply. We are simply overlooking them. And I'll tell you this, and I'll be quiet. For a long time, I said I would only marry a dark-skinned sister because I saw how they got overlooked. And working in the schools, I saw how the chocolate girls were always the last to be approached. So I said, I'm going to marry a chocolate queen and put the chocolate women back on the map. And then I had to sit down one day. And I said, if you do that, you practicing dark skin supremacy. What if the woman your ancestors is sending you is fair skin, is tan, is brown? You may miss out on the woman you need to complete your mission here on earth because you're now saying that you have a one-track mind that will only date chocolate, but your queen may actually be of another complexion. So I had to check myself because in wanting to defend my chocolate, beautiful African queens, I almost became a chauvinist myself against light-skinned women. And I'm going to put this on black men. We got to stop worshiping skin color and disrespecting and dismissing our chocolate women.
So because, this is a really great conversation with you because you're a doctor of clinical psychology. And this thing really does get psychological because when I'm thinking about the women I've dated and even some of, the dark-skinned women that have gotten very vulnerable with me, all of them in their honesty have communicated challenges dealing with men, dealing with just different areas of their lives associated with that part of it.
Yes.
And do you find that just overall, the darker skinned women are probably dealing with more insecurity or self-worth issues at scale?
Yes. The light skin supremacy that our beautiful dark skinned sisters have to put up with is an extra layer of pain they carry. But guess what? Although it is worse than what the extremely pale skinned sisters have to deal with, I would say second to the chocolate sisters' trauma around skin color is the pale skin sisters' trauma around skin color. The super light, bright queens, they also go through a lot of trauma. It's not as much as the dark. I want to be clear about that, but they go through it. I see it in the schools. The light-skinned girl with the green eyes, they got to fight every day. Now, the dark-skinned one's going to be called ugly African booty scrap, right?
Right.
But the light-skinned one, she getting her face scratched out every day. They bite, you understand? Because they assuming because she's light-skinned with hazel eyes, she thinks she better when she may not. So if you exist on either extreme of the color continuum within the African queendom, you suffer.
That's true.
If you're a tan and a brown, you safe. But if you are super light bright, super chocolate, you're going to suffer. But without question, the chocolates suffer way more.
And I would say this too. It's another one we don't talk about. Our light-skinned brothers, very, very, very light-skinned brothers, suffer. One of my very closest friends I grew up with, he was one of these brothers. And you'll find that a lot of the very, very light-skinned brothers, because of conditioning, how they're treated growing up, a lot of them feel like they got something to prove.
You know what?
A lot of them feel like they got to be the baddest.
I just learned this.
They got to be the gangsters. They got to be the thugs. I have my brother D1 up here. D1 is a good brother.
Yes,
And we asked, yo, why's your hair locked up? He said, I had to get locked up because growing up, this was how I connected to my blackness. People had to know I was black by looking at my hair, my locks. So that was
now the blackness is a little bit different from the masculinity, though.
Yes,
Right.
That is.
So separate them out.
That is.
But you're saying even in terms of the masculinity, in terms of him being able to assert himself as a man, he felt, or light-skinned brothers can feel, that they are sometimes treated like they ain't got enough swag because they're light-skinned.
Absolutely.
I just heard this for the first time a couple months ago, and I never heard it before that, but brothers told me that. I never knew that. That people thought light-skinned guys
were weaker
soft. Because when I look back in middle school and high school, a lot of the bullies were light-skinned. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I didn't know that the light-skinned brothers felt that they were kind of viewed as soft. I never saw it.
That's a running
but I did hear this.
Yeah.
Now you're a lighter brother. I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Running light skin thing, like, oh, you acting light skin.
Yeah, that's a thing.
That's light skin behavior. Yeah.
Okay.
And you get that from women and men.
But that's with the colorism.
Yeah.
I've heard that. But what about your masculinity? Growing up, did you feel that you were viewed as softer or weaker because you were lighter? Do you feel your gangster was tested more because you were light?
Not me specifically,
but you've seen it.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Maybe even somebody was it's funny because it depends on whose lightest.
Let me tell you when it really hit me. I don't know how long y'all been following me, but if you go back to 2016, 2017, me and the good brother Cyrus Sutin-Seti had a beef. Shout out to Cyrus Sutin-Seti. He is RBG, so I respect the brother. And I did my little rant in Detroit with my Phillies hat, my classic Seti rant. And I called him albino.
We about to sack that shit. We taking that over. Nothing but positive consciousness programming in 2017. That's why you made me the prince of Pan-Africanism. That's why I took over this conscious shit by the throat. And don't worry, when I'm done talking about the Parent Association, I'm going to deal with Papa Smurf. I'm going to deal with that little dirty. I heard you, albino. I'm going to handle your ass tonight. You ain't getting away with that shit. You should have never came for me, nigga. I never with your little dirty broke ass anyway. Still living in your fucking mama house. What type of grown ass going on 50 still living in this mama house, nigga? Look at my face when you talking to me. This ain't no WWF. Who the fuck is you, the conscious Hulk Hogan? You the conscious Hulk Hogan? Papa Smurf? Motherfucker, you look like Tattoo from Fantasy Island with your stupid ass. Who the fuck is you? Randy Macho Man Seti Savage? You's a fucking nut, nigga. You's a fucking nut. What platform you got? What platform you got? You's a dirty nigga. Sonetta built your nut ass. Now you want it with the prince? You the general? Well, I'm the prince, nigga. The general answers to the prince. I call the shots. Every time you look in the mirror, you see a nigga. Every time you look in the mirror, you see a nigga. So you got to go extra hard because you're trying to prove to yourself that you're a black man. I ain't got that problem. I'm melanated. I'm melanated. When I look in the mirror, I see a black man. When you look in the mirror, you see a nigga. You got that Napoleon thing going on. You got that Napoleon. You see that date, August 21st, bitch. That's when I was born. 821. Bring it. Bring it, motherfucker. Little dirty. I called for an elders meeting because shit was getting out of hand. It wasn't about you. I don't go around think about you, you broke ass. Do you even have a job? Talking about you leading the RBG movement and you living on your mama couch. Ain't you the same who sold drugs to go to Kemet? Didn't your dumb ass say that on YouTube? You sold drugs to go to Kemet? You counterproductive, degenerate motherfucker. Who gonna sell drugs to go to Kemet, bitch? I'm right here. Come bring it.
Because I'm going in on him.
Right.
I don't do light skin supremacy. My father's as light as SETI. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it wasn't about that. I'm just going in on him. And I started getting hit up by all these light skinned Africans. Men, women, elders like Dr. Umar, you got to take that back. You can't say that, because a lot of us struggle. I didn't know.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
Because there was a light skin privilege in society, I overlooked the fact that although this may count more in the white world, it can be a detriment in the black community.
Yeah.
You see that? So I had to check myself on that. So shout out to all my light skinned folks and apologies to those I might have offended a couple years ago. That's almost 9 years ago. 17, 18, 19, 21, 2, 3, 7 years ago with the SETI comment about him being albino. So shout out to my light-skinned Africans and my albino Africans. Okay, we all one family.
There
One
we
love.
go. There we go. Much love.
I also believe this, Queen Mother. The jealousy and the envy that I get from other scholars in the conscious community, as well as other personalities. So by scholars, I mean real scholars. I mean people with legitimate doctoral degrees that they earn from a university. There's a degree of jealousy and envy there towards me from some of them. And then when I look at the fake woke YouTubian commentators, because they're not scholars, I would never call any of them scholars, but the fake woke YouTubian personalities in the conscious community, okay, many of them are light, Queen Mother. Many of them are light. Many of the scholars are light. Most of them are lighter than me. Although I'm not chocolate, I'm on the darker side of the spectrum when you deal with scholarship in Black consciousness. I believe, Queen Mother, that one of the reasons a lot of them have issues with me is because I am darker than them. I think that the jealousy stems from the fact that in Black America, we have a history of light-skinned leadership and light-skinned scholarship. Most of our leaders since slavery could pass a brown paper bag test. I don't care if it's Malcolm. I don't care if it's Martin. I don't care if it's the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Okay, and I don't care if it's Jesse Jackson. I don't care if it's Minister Farrakhan. I don't care if it's Al Sharpton. Most of them can pass a brown paper bag test. Dr. Khalid and the Most Honorable Marcus Garvey are exceptions. I am also an exception, although I'm not much darker. I do not pass the brown paper bag test. And I'm saying to you, Queen Mother, I'm long-winded, but I'm saying all that to say that when you look at the beefs that I've had in the Black consciousness, damn near every one was a light-skinned brother. Whether he was yellow or whether he was brown paper bag, if you look at everybody I beef with, nobody was chocolate. Everybody was lighter than me. And everybody provoked those beefs. And I can name a couple people right now, and I'm not going to, who got serious issues with me. And they are light as hell. And I know their problem stems from the fact that he should not be the number one person. They still have a mindset, Queen Mother, that leadership has to be light-skinned. And I'm the first one in a long time to be number one, undisputedly number one in Black consciousness. And I'm not light-skinned. And I think a lot of the light-skinned speakers and scholars, their issue with me is I have the audacity, just like Dr. Khaled and Mr. Garvey, I have the audacity to be unapologetically dark-skinned. And I think that is the crux of why I've had so many beefs, and every one of them was lighter than me.